Our feedback platform is open for you to send in your questions and comments. We'll be expecting them. Now it's time for you to meet other women who run the show behind the scene.
A field like the aviation sector is one known to be male-dominated. But now, everything is beginning to change, as women can now stand tall in high positions. Engineer Omodele Arowolo is an air navigator, safety inspector. Her field is one of those very important to the industry. This room is called the Communications Equipment Room, which transmits the conversation between the controller and the pilot. Here, Engineer Arowolo is carrying out her engineering duties.
Okay, this is the 80s page.
Yeah.
When you close this,
The weather page.
okay, the weather page. And the runway, showing the runway. Basically what you use this is an indicator. Use it to monitor what the machine is bringing out. This speaks of the flight of the aircraft coming in, whatever conversation is between the pilot and the controller, they are recorded and archived over a very long duration of time.
This computer is the technical monitoring control system that keeps a tab on the frequencies.
It's an indication of what these other racks, whatever they are producing, it comes in here. From here you can monitor all the other racks you have in here. You can monitor all the frequency. We know whichever one is having problem, whichever one is not having problem. If you look at this, you basically see that most of them, they are all green. That's telling you that all our equipment that we have here, they are in good working condition.
In her office at the NCAA, she goes ahead to tell us her responsibilities.
We talk about safety communications. We talk about controller-pilot communication, the communication that guides an aircraft from an aerodrome of departure to an aerodrome of landing. And along this, I'm sure you know we have air routes. Just like you have roads here, we have air routes. So when you talk of navigation, you're talking about how an aircraft gets from here, perhaps from here to Kano, must follow some air routes, laid down routes. So what do? We have equipment at some fixed location. We call them sensor-based equipment. So an aircraft is supposed to sense those equipment along the route. That's when an aircraft knows that, okay, I'm on course. And when you can't sense this, following the sensor-based equipment that will bleep to let you know that, hey, you're on course, I'm going to Kano, this is a Bravo Delta, that means I'm overhead bidder. You have a sensor there. Along the route, you have some sensor. At the same time, while you're using that for navigation, you are communicating with the controller. That's the pilot communicating with the controller, ensuring that you're on course, taking positive clearance on the route you need to take.
Then she gives her opinion about female interests in the field.
Issue of male dominance is an issue of perception. So I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no. And how we say it depends on who you are talking about. I've always grown, even while schooling, amongst men. You know, science is those days seems to be male dominated. I could remember clearly that I was the only lady that did physics up to Form 5, up to school sat level. So it has always been for me a male-dominated environment, and I love it so much. I don't know why. Because at times I look at it when people talk about their job. If you don't love what you do, then one is not fulfilled. I love my job so much, and looking back, I don't think I have anything I would say. It's a regret picking the job that I do, because I love myself when I'm on the field, when we are looking at issues, you know. I'm so excited, so passionate about the job. And when there are challenges, I love it so much more.
This is also another woman who is the head of operations, Murtala Mohammed Airport, rolling out her desk work.
We have basic functions of facilitation. That's facilitation of passenger, cargo, and goods. Then another one is safety of flight operations on the air side. So we ensure the safety of flight operations, movement of aircraft, and we ensure that all the standards and recommended practices of ICAO are complied with as airport operations. So all the facilities in the terminal building will make sure the function, because as a facilitation of passengers, you have a recommended time you have to use in the airport, either on arrival or departure. So when you have facilities that are working optimally, you are able to attain that timing. So we ensure that is done. So when any of our facilities like conveyor belts is not functioning, it is the duty of operation officer to call the mechanical to fix it.
From teaching, she ended up in the aviation sector.
I was a trained teacher anyway. I had NC certificate then. But when I joined the organization and as I was growing, then I realized that if I need to get somewhere, I have to up my education.
For her, aviation is a gender-friendly sector.
There is so much opportunity for the women folk. The controllers, air traffic controllers, you have ladies now as air traffic controllers.
And for Isioma Ogbeche, passenger services manager, Sakol, her dream was to work in the petroleum industry. Isioma Ogbeche's duties are basically customer services.
So what my job entails is that my customers are handled speedily, efficiently, and in the most courteous manner. Since I joined, it's been more like handling passengers from the air and now on ground, basically, which wasn't too far from what I did even while I was in Shell, because I was also a front desk staff as well.
The unique thing about the job is that everyone remains a student.
You acquire the knowledge you require to discharge your duties from these courses, and you are encouraged to imbibe, you are encouraged to take back what you know, that knowledge, and apply it to your job when you come back, and it's been very fruitful.
The aviation industry is very educative and open to everyone.
A four-man team from the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, has arrived in Nigeria to commence the Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program, USOAP. During the exercise, some areas will be the focal points. They are legislation, organization, accident and incident investigation, air navigational services, and aerodrome and ground aids. The auditors will be working with their Nigerian counterparts and will visit the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority's regional office and those of all the relevant service providers in the aviation industry. At the end of the exercise, there will be a closing meeting where the draft audit results will be presented. And outside Nigerian shores, French investigators say a doctor had recommended the German pilot who crashed a Germanwings jet into the Alps last year for psychiatric treatment in hospital. 2 weeks before, co-pilot Andreas Lubitz killed 150 people when he crashed a plane on March 24 into the French Alps, reports say an unidentified private doctor had told him to seek help at a mental health institution. The The physician was one of a number of doctors consulted by Lubitz, who wrestled with symptoms of a psychotic depressive episode that started in December 2014 and may have lasted until the day of the crash. Prosecutors believe the 27-year-old co-pilot, who had a history of depression, barricaded himself into the cockpit and deliberately propelled the Airbus jet into a mountainside, killing everyone on board. France's BA Air Accident Investigation Office said in its final report that neither Lubitz nor any of his doctors had alerted aviation authorities or his employer about his illness. It also called for tougher inspections when pilots with a history of psychiatric problems are declared fit to fly. At the same time, the BEA asked airlines to find ways to ease the economic risks for pilots who may fear losing their job if they declare illness, and to promote peer support schemes. And a piece of debris found by a South African teenager has been sent to Australia for testing as part of the investigation into the disappearance of a Malaysian Airlines plane 2 years ago. A 10-year-old Liam Lotter was on holidays with his family in Mozambique in December when he spotted the piece of debris. His family then took it back to their home in South Africa.
So they've confirmed that this serial number is from a Boeing 777, so we do know it's from a Boeing. We just don't know if it might be MH370. And they've also confirmed that no other Boeing has gone down except for MH370.
Another suspected part of the Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 was found in Mozambique last week. The white meter-long piece of metal is being tested by officials in Australia with help from Malaysian authorities and representatives of manufacturer Boeing. South African authorities plan to hand over the debris found by Lotter to the same Australian team. Flight MH370 disappeared on March 8, 2014, with 239 passengers and crew on board shortly after taking off from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing. It's believed to have crashed in the Indian Ocean. A piece of the plane's wing was washed up on the French Indian Ocean island of Réunion in July 2015.
This is where our flight stops this week. I hope you enjoyed the program. Feel free to share your views with us anytime. Thanks for staying tuned to Aviation This Week on Channels Television. See you next time.